Hello lovely beaders. Welcome back to my channel. Do you remember last week's exclamation mark earrings? Well, the matching pendant for them is now ready. I love how repeating a single simple component can create a completely new and complex design. I took the teardrop shape from the earring, multiplied it, and created this beautiful 3D flower. Would you like to learn how to make one too? Then grab your beads and let's start beading together. In this video, I will not be showing the detailed step-by-step process for making the teardrop component. I will only do a very quick overview of the steps. This quick recap might be enough for you if you are an experienced beader. However, if you feel you need the full detailed instructions, please go back and watch my previous video first, the tutorial for the exclamation mark earring, where I explain how to make this teardrop shape from the very beginning. I will put the link to the earring tutorial on the screen for you now. You can also find the link in the description box below. Make the first row with delica beads. Start with the 2 beads for the corner. This teardrop is made with a modified peyote stitch. The modification is very simple. In one of the gaps you make a corner by beading 2 beads together instead of the usual one. This corner creates the teardrop shape. Make the second delica row. You need to repeat this corner in every row. If you have beaded a peyote triangle before, this technique will be familiar to you. Or if you have never beaded a peyote stitch with corners before, I recommend watching my other videos. You will find everything from projects with many corners to designs with just a single corner. Start the first row of size 11 seed beads. If you have never tried circular peyote stitch with step-ups and beaded corners before, then this might not be the right project for you to start with. I recommend starting with one of my easier peyote tutorials first. You can find many of them on my channel. The last row is another row of size 11 seed beads. But remember to add only 1 bead at the corner. We will use this row to zip up with the other side once the other side is also finished. The first side of the teardrop shape is finished. Lead your thread to the other side and start with the first delica row. Don't forget the corner with the 2 beads. For this flower pendant, I haven't used any special crystals or large beads at all. The whole shape is created using only simple seed beads and delica beads. And yet, the final result is such a beautiful and detailed pendant, made just from these tiny beads. It really shows the magic of beading. It does make me wonder, though, what do you think this flower would look like with a little bit of added sparkle? Maybe a tiny crystal or a bicone right in the center. Make the second row with delica beads. Making the teardrop shape itself is not too difficult. Once you know the pattern, a single teardrop can be made very quickly. For me, the real challenge is always weaving in the threads and zipping the finished teardrops together. Make the first row of size 11 seed beads. Have you ever beaded a similar shape like this before? I have used this same teardrop component to create many different jewelry pieces over the years. And I have always been so happy with the final result. Zip the 2 sides together. I have made this teardrop shape at least 6 times already for this project, so this 7th one is almost forming automatically. And that's one of my favorite parts of any project. The moment when you know the pattern so well that you can just let your hands do the work. So relaxing. The world outside just disappears for a little while and it's only you and the beads. It's a very peaceful and satisfying feeling. The first teardrop shape is finished. For the pendant, I used 5 of these teardrop shapes. So finish off your thread and start the process over to make the next one. I finished my 5th teardrop. You can see all 5 of them. I did not finish off my thread on the last one because I will use this thread to connect the 5 petals. The thread is exiting from the corner bead of the last teardrop shape. String one size 11 seed bead and go through the corner bead of the next teardrop shape. Repeat this step all the way around until you have connected all 5 teardrop corners with a size 11 seed bead. This part is still quite easy, right? You just need to make sure you don't forget a seed bead between the petals. The next part will be a bit more challenging, but don't be scared, it's totally manageable. Reinforce this circle by going through the beads again. At this point, the petals are still a bit wobbly and loose. That's because we have only connected their center part so far. But by the end they will be so firm and stable, you won't be able to move them individually even if you wanted to. To stitch the petals together, we first need to add 2 new beads to the side of one petal. I will zoom in on the video so you can see better where I stitch and where I add these new beads. To start adding the new beads, go through the next seed bead after a corner bead. This bead is the corner bead from the first row of size 11 seed beads strung to make the teardrop shape. String a size 11 seed bead and go through the next seed bead from the same row of seed beads strung to make the petal. Repeat this step one more time. To turn and start zipping the 2 sides together, we first need to add 1 more size 11 seed bead. This is the bead you will use to turn to the other side. String the seed bead and go through the corresponding bead on the other petal to begin the zipping process. And start to zip the 2 petals together using the 2 new beads just added. And yes, I am still beading way too tightly. My poor needles are definitely not happy about this. Sometimes I have to find the perfect magic angle just to get through a single bead. The first 2 petals are zipped together. To start zipping the other side of this petal to the next one, simply pass through the corner beads. Then add the 2 extra beads to the other side of the petal that you will use to connect the next petal. Before turning, string the 3rd seed bead and start zipping the 2 sides together. I will show this part in normal speed so you can see the zipping process one more time. After this, I will speed up the video so I don't bore you with the remaining 3 zippings. Don't forget that you can slow it down by clicking on the cogwheel icon and selecting the speed you want. It's so interesting how different color combinations can completely change the personality of a design. For this set, I chose these bright yellow, orange, and gold colors for a really fun and summery feel. But I can already imagine this pendant in a completely different style. Maybe in deep, dramatic blues for a gothic look, or with soft pastels for a more classic, elegant feel. It just shows that the possibilities with beading are truly endless. The second zipping is now complete. Notice that the petals will not lie flat. They will start to curl up as you zip them together. Continue this zipping process all the way around. While this part is speeding up, I'd like to talk for a moment about the importance of your support. As you know, I share all my knowledge and patterns here on YouTube completely for free. I do this because I am truly passionate about beading and I love teaching and sharing this beautiful craft with you all. But to be able to continue creating new valuable content every week, your support is absolutely essential. Every like, every comment, and every share helps this little channel grow and reach more people from our wonderful beading community. It proves that there is a real need for these detailed free tutorials. And of course, if you'd like to support my work in a more direct way, you can always check out my Etsy shop for beading patterns, or my web shop for my finished handmade jewelry. The links for those are always in the description box below. I just wanted to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for helping me keep this channel alive and growing. Truly means the world. . The The flower is now finished. Each petal is securely stitched to the next one. As you can see, the flower has a natural curve to it. But if you would prefer to make it flat, that is also an option, as the petals are still a bit flexible. You would just need to zip up the other side of the flower as well, and then the flower will lie flat. Now we just need to add the bail for the necklace. To make a simple loop, just lead your thread to the back side of the flower and exit from the third seed bead strung in the first row of seed beads. This seed bead is sitting opposite to the seed bead where you turn to start the zipping. I will show you my preferred method, but you have a couple of options here. You could add a single beaded loop to the top of just one petal, which also looks very nice. Or you can add 2 loops on 2 adjacent petals so the necklace can hang from 2 points. For this project, I chose to create a single loop right between 2 of the petals. It took some effort with my tight tension, but I've reached the right bead to start the hanger. I will zoom in so you can see exactly what I am doing now. String one size 11 seed bead and go through the same bead on the other petal. String another size 11 seed bead and go back through your starting seed bead. This creates a raw circle. We will use the top bead of this raw circle to make the beaded loop for the hanger. So lead your thread to the top bead from this circle. String 5 size 11 seed beads and make the beaded loop. Reinforce this loop by going through the beads again. And the pendant is finished. We just need to finish off the thread. I will simply weave my thread back and forth through the rows, making several turns to secure it tightly. You need to turn and change direction several times. But it's not enough to just turn, you must also pass through some beads between the turns. And here comes the battle with the tight beads again. I need to carefully find a way through and finish off my thread. The beads at the top of the petals are always a little less tight. That's why I prefer to weave in my thread here, because I really don't want to break a bead right at the end of my project. I am putting a pinch bail into the beaded loop. It's not always easy to close these types of bails, but try to squeeze it very tightly. You need to make sure the thread cannot slip out between the prongs of the bail. And all I need to do is thread the necklace through the hanger. And I have a new pendant. This project was challenging at times because of the tight tension, but the final result is beautiful and definitely worth the patience. I just love how the pendant and the earrings look together as a set. They have a real summer feeling, don't they? And I already have another idea on how to continue this little series. Are you curious to see what's next? And that's the end of today's video. If you watched it and liked it, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you for spending time with me. See you next week.